Okay, so welcome guys to Famik Studios, and today we'll be modeling a character in Blender. Yeah, so in this tutorial I'll be explaining everything and each steps I take to create 3D characters in Blender. Then this course will be actually at the end, from rigging, texturing and animating. So the first step is modeling. Okay, so when I open Blender with my default cube on it, I'm going to go into edit mode. Then you can press tab, then switch to edit mode like that. Then we have sculpt mode, we have vertex paint, weight paint. So I'll explain all these when needed in the future. So let's start in by our basic character mesh. So I'm actually going to delete the default cube, then I'm going to open the sphere by going to add or shift A, then mesh, then you go into UV sphere. Okay, so this is our basic UV sphere in Blender. Then let me just kind of increase the segments to, let me say, maybe, okay, like that. I think that's enough. So I'll put 60 by 35. Maybe let me just click it to 40. So 60 segments, then 40 rings. That's enough. Press 1 on your numpad to go into front view. Then press tab and you can change into your sculpt mode. Okay, so right here in sculpt mode, we are going to sculpt our basic head that we are trying to model right now. So let's make our basic head shape. So I'm going to select my grab brush, then I'm going to press F to scale in and out of my brush, so that's fine. Then I'm going to grab here like that. Okay, so that looks fine. Then let's just kind of inflate some of these parts. So F, scaling in. Then I'm just going to remove some of these parts like that. So the character I'm making right now is a non-fiction character, or should I say it's a sci-fi character. So it's going to have a lot of features that are not in human anatomy, and you guys have to bear in mind, saying we're making a sci-fi character. But the same way we make these sci-fi characters can be applied to physical or realistic characters. So that's fine for me as a head. We'll keep on increasing it until we have a shape of a head. Okay, so that looks fine. So I'm going to turn on my smooth, and I'll make sure it's on 0.2. Then I'll smoothen out all of those sharp edges behind my sculpt by smoothing everything up. Smoothing everything up like that until I have a basic head that I feel is fine. Okay, so click one and smoothen out some parts here as well. Okay, so let's add the eye places by changing our brush to a let's use the Crease Brush. So I'll press 1 on my numpad, then the eyes have to be somewhere here. So I'll actually dip it in my eyes like that, like that. So don't forget, what we're making right now is a basic head mesh. So then let's add our mouth right here like that. We'll add our mouth. like that. Then let's add our nose by grabbing out this part like that. Okay, so this is fine for my basic head mesh. So it's time to start adding details. So I have a reference picture with me right here. I want to make such kinds of character. So this is how I'm going to go about it. I'll go for this fat guy here. So you can see the head is like a square like that. Or let me use this guy. The head is like a square and all that. So let's go ahead and make the chin part. Okay. So we're going to change into the inflate tool. Then I'm going to inflate the cheeks like that. So actually what we're doing right now is sculpting, and in this course I've sculpted the character from scratch, so it's a plus for me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like my video if it's really helpful. So let's go ahead and model the chin. So I'm going to grab some of the edges like that to make the chin. Then let me pick up the code. Hello. Yeah, man. Yeah, dia pangalan tutorial pa. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so after that, let's go into edit mode and let's add a loop cut right here. Like that. And let's add. Then let's go back into sculpt mode. Then choose the crease brush. And let's just take the mouth more deep by let's just increase the brush strength, and that should be fine. Then let's deal with the nose part. So I'll go into edit mode. Then I'll add a loop cut here. I'll add another loop cut here. Then I'll go back into my sculpt mode. Then for this one, I'm going to turn on the dynamic topology because it will help me model these characters better, or should I say sculpt these characters better. So I'm actually going to add some geometry by using the sculpt brush. Then I'll actually do something like that. Then the nose like that. That looks fine. Okay, then I'm actually going to increase the depth of the eyes too by taking it in like that. I've turned on mirror, so whatever I do to this side will be done to the other side. Okay. Then let's sculpt the nose much better by using the sculpt brush. So that's fine. And we'll smoothen things out later, but for now, let's just keep this geometry the way it is. Then let's also add some lips here. So I'm actually going to do this. Okay. Hello? Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, serious? Yeah. Change the demo. Oh. Hey. esse obcavon takashima pakaina mu 2%. Instante. Nako lero. É. É. Esfixe. Umfa kaidi. Umfa. Dacha the legend. Uwa kujupita tushu. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is let's deal with the mouth and the lower chin. So I'm going to take a look at my reference, then that's fine. Okay, so let's just go back and maybe let's add some ears before we go any further. So insert mesh, then UV sphere. Then I'm going to scale it down and grab it on my X. Then I'm going to scale it on my Y like that. Press 1 on my numpad and grab it down on my Z and grab it on my X like that. Okay, so it's time for us to model the ears. So I'm going to Sculpt Mode. Then I'm just going to model a basic ear shape. So I'm actually going to do that. Probably the ear got that kind of style inside like that. Okay, so that looks fine for now. Then let's just close it up by hitting up the grab tool, pressing 1, then F to increase the size of the brush, then just from there grab it in. Okay, like that. Then okay, let's just Control Z, then take it in like that, then this one out. So let's decrease the size of our brush even a little bit smaller, and let's grab this out like that and that out like that. Okay, then let's smooth things up by changing to our smooth brush. Then the output is fine, or should I say the strength is fine. Then let's straighten things up here like that. Okay, like that, like that. Then let's make it more rough and more looking like a ear shape. Okay, that looks fine for me. So let's try grabbing this inside the ear like that, and maybe grabbing it forward like that because the ears are more like in the front. Then grab this on the top like that. So let's just look and see where exactly the ears are. So the ears are near the eyes and slightly back. So that's what we're going to do for our character. Right on the eyes, then grab them a little bit on the X like that, then that's fine. So that looks fine. Let's try to see how our character is looking so far. Okay, so you see it looks like a character, but it has no details. So it's time for details. So the next thing that I'm going to do is turn off. First, I'll click the head. Then I'm actually going to mirror this up. Like I'm going to mirror this up. Then my mirror object will be this. Okay, and you see I get a very good character name. Okay, so it's time to smoothen things up. So I'm going to click my head. Then I'm going to go into Sculpt Mode. Then I'll turn off dynamic topology and I'm going to change to my smooth brush. Then I'll make sure I change this to 0.1 because I really need a smooth of 1 on this one, just to smoothen things up like that. On the mouth here, on the chin, just actually going to straighten things up before I start adding more details to it. Okay, so that's fine and it's getting more better. So one thing you really need to do is while you're making your character, make sure you're making it look close to the, okay, what I'm trying to say is make sure your character looks close to something you really want to make and you don't expect it to become good at once. So keep adding details and smoothing things up while you're making your character. Okay, so that looks fine and things look smoothing up. Maybe let me work on the nose. Okay, so that looks fine to me, and when I render this it looks fine, but the ears are in a very bad position, which is very bad at working. So I'm just actually going to take them in and rotate them on a Y somehow like that, and press 1. I'm going to rotate this like that, and I'm going to grab them in like that, then scale them on an X slightly. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, that's perfect. So click the head and it's time for the nose. So let's choose the nose we're going to use. I prefer this one. It comes like a curve, then that here. So as we have seen, the nose needs to be like a curve. So I'm going to go into my sculpt mode and change it to grab. Then I'm going to grab the nose here. I'll make sure I'm grabbing it in the correct way. I'll make sure I'm grabbing it in the right way. That one was wrong. Okay, let me just use the sculpt brush by adding some mesh here like that. Then it should all grow big here because that's what we have seen in the character. The nose comes all here like that, comes all down here, yeah, like that. That's how the nose is. That's what I can see. Then it has some kind of geometry right here. Okay, what this geometry really does is that it just cuts off the kinds of brushes, or should I say, it will just help us filter out what we actually need to happen here. So I'm going to actually cut things up here. Maybe let me turn on dynamic topology for this one. I'm actually going to cut out meshes here. And let me increase the strength to 5.1. Okay, so maybe actually giving it more strength can help. Then let me cut here like that. Okay. So that's what's happening with the nose. I'm going to turn off dynamic topology and I'm going to change the brush to smooth because the smooth really helps us. Okay, the smooth really turns things in a way that we want them to be. Actually, like it actually brings our dreams and our vision to life. Let's give a thumbs up to the smooth brush. It helps a lot and would help you too. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just smoothing out some edges that I think ain't looking right for my nose. I'm just trying to smoothen things up that I think they ain't looking best for my nose. I'm trying to deal with those out first. Yeah. So that as we model the character, we want to feel the vibe of the character. So we actually need to work with the nose. So if you guys are really thinking why am I doing this video, the reason is simple. What we're doing here is actually modeling from scratch. So you know what I mean? Modeling can be a very tedious thing to do in the process of animation, and I've seen most of the people getting fed up just by when they reach the level of modeling and they think their animations can come to life. So I made this video for kind of people who actually need the modeling skill, the rigging skill, and finally the texturing and animating skill. Okay, so this may look kind of weird when you're starting your model, but as we go, it keeps on getting better and better. And the better it gets, the closer looks we get for our character. Okay. So another thing that I would like to do is add in the eyes because it will give me more room and it will actually show me the things that I need to do and the errors. So maybe rotating this on an X 90 degrees can help because I get this circle right here to work better with the eyes. So I'm going to grab this and insert it on an eyeball. I'll grab it like that. Grab it on an X, then grab it on a Z. Then I'm actually going to scale this up. Press 1 on my numpad to get a clear view of my character and see the type of eyes this dude needs to get. So I'm going to scale it on my X like that. And you can see somehow it looks great, but the eye just looks too wide. So that's fine for my eyes. Let me try to see that. Let me add a material to the eyes, or should I say, let me just add a new material, give it a white, pure white. Then going to edit mode, then I'm going to select vertice mode, A to select everything. Then I'm just actually going to click that. Then I'm going to control plus to keep increasing it. Then this is fine for my black pupil, as people say. Then let me actually give this a black color to actually identify the pupil meanwhile. So I'm going to decrease the light and I'm going to assign it to it. So when I press 1 on my numpad, then zoom out like that, then you see I get a very good thing that looks like an eye. Though I need to fix up my mesh so that the eye can fit much better. I'm going to go into object mode, then I'm going to mirror this up. I'll mirror this up, then my head will be the point there. So when I check how my character turns out, you see the mouth is bad, the nose is better, the ears are better, though the ears seem to be a little bit up. So let's grab my ear, then turn them down somehow, then grab them on X. Now let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks perfect and realistic. So let's click our mesh and go back to sculpt mode. Then let's kind of smoothen things out right here on our eye. So I just want to smooth it, or maybe let's use the crease brush just right there by creasing out some parts like that. So let's squeeze out some parts like that, like that, and round. So when your mirror tool is active in your sculpting mode, which is actually, it has been made like that, and your objects are set correctly, you should be able to get this both sides. So when I see this, you see the eyes are looking better, and it's time to smoothen out our eye sockets. So I'm going to turn it to smooth mode and turn it a little bit high. Then I'm going to actually fill this. Okay, so actually going to fill this like that until my eye gets a better eye socket that I need. So keep on going, and sculpting like that. Okay, so as you can see, our character is changing from phase to phase, from what we're from doing to something that looks promising, and it's just because of the skill. So I don't want you guys to be intimidated thinking you can't do this, or you guys thinking maybe it's kind of tough or some. So this is really easy, and you can do this on your own as long as you follow the steps and as long as you understand some of the character modeling concepts, especially in sculpting, because trust me, sculpting will guarantee you 99% of your character modeling. If you want to make a good character, obviously it needs to be sculpted. So you may be using ZBrush, you may be using what's this? Blender, Maya to model out your character, but the process will be the same, and this will work for all. Okay. So for my eye socket, this looks fine. I just need to smoothen things up a little bit like that to get a good looking edge for the eyes and everything, including my nose like that. Okay, so our character actually looks like it's facing up, so let's rotate our eye on X. Actually looks straight in us. Rotate on X. Okay, that's fine. Those slightly on X again. Then let's see. Okay, so you can see we get good vertices for our eye. So it's time for us to scale them a little bit and grab them on our Y in like that. Okay, so now when I press 1 and Shift Z, you see I get a good looking character. So let's give this character some material, some reference material, because the color would determine the texture of the color will be determined by the texture of the character. Okay, so I just want actually to make something brown, something light brown like that. Okay, so that looks fine. Then let me increase the intensity. Okay, so for me, that looks fine. Then I'm actually going to use the same material for my ears, and let's see how that looks like. Okay, so guys, you can see that our character head has been modeled. So it's time for us to make the body and the arms and everything look straight. So if you guys want me to actually show you step by step on how we model the head, because in this tutorial I've been kind of fast and I've been trying to beat time because I don't want this video to take like long hours just for the first step to be completed. Oh, so before we go, let me just work on the head. So I'm going to go into Sculpt Mode. Then let's fix up the mouth. So I'm going to go into Sculpt Draw. Then I'm going to work on my mouth first. So I'm also going to use first, before I turn on Dyna, I'm actually going to build the basic head with the chin looking all good and fluffy like that. Okay, so now let's turn on the topology, dynamic topology, then let's crease the mouth up. So the mouth shape is fine, though we just need to retouch up some places and stuff by actually doing that and that. Okay, so that looks fine. And let's now work on the chin. Okay, so on the chin, I'm going to turn on smooth as low as it is, but I'm just going to increase my brush size. Then I'll smoothen everything up like that. I'll smoothen everything up like that. Then I'm actually going to draw up, turning my down topology off. Then I'm actually going to increase this part to show my lips. Okay, like that. Like that. Okay, maybe let's touch the upper part too. So let's add the lips like that. The lips, the lips, the lips, and all the way here. Okay, so that looks fine to me. It's time for our smooth brush to smoothen everything up. So let's smooth everything up here like that, including our chin part before we actually model our real chin. But meanwhile, let's do that. And let's smoothen my lips here. Okay, here like that. And the mouth like that. Okay, so I'm actually going to do up everything so smooth because our character needs to look better and it actually needs to have good views. So one secret that I'm going to let you guys know when sculpting is, while you're sculpting, make sure you have the vision in your head, not only on a reference, but it needs to be in your head, because when you have the reference in your head, everything will be possible and things will move clear and you enjoy your animation modeling. Okay, we're going to put it this way. Imagine you're modeling a real character in reality. It wouldn't be easy and you would use a lot of effort just to get some clear views and just to make it look realistic. So same applies in all these software modeling applications. So we're still working on lips and still trying to make them look better for our character to keep as lips, not for the sake of something that looks like lips, but for our character to keep these lips. Okay, looks like we're done with the lips now. It's time to turn on our topology using the crease brush and turn on dynamic topology, and let's just draw out the lips section. So that's the lips section. Just going to cut out here up to there. Okay, increase the strength to get very deep cuts up to there, here, here, and there. Okay, so I'll make sure my lips have a decent and good shape, because this actually helps when it comes to texturing and doing the rest. Okay, so this looks fine for our lips, and I think I can really work on this one. So I'll turn off Dyna topology and I'll switch to my smoothing brush and I'll smoothen things up. for my lips to look realistic and not them looking like a bunch of vertices paused together representing some pieces. Okay, so while smoothing things up and making the desired shape we need, let's go on even in our mouth to smoothen things up, because we don't want to have some rough characters, but our character needs to be neat, and this is the way to go. Okay, so after smoothing things out, smoothing and smoothing, let's try to see how our character looks like. And we have something like this. Okay, so for this part, guys, I think this is where we'll end. Next time, we'll be adding the body, and don't forget to turn in the notification bar so that you guys can actually get updated whenever the new tutorial comes out. And if this content was really helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.